And what's going on, hockey fans? And welcome to episode number 76 of Marty's Illegal Stick, recording here on Thursday night, May 12th, 2022. A special edition Thursday night show, if you will. And we're recording at 7 instead of 7:30. I'm Scott Kinville. I'm trying to learn some hand signals over here. Dave the Save is screwing me up already. We're not even 10 seconds into the show.
I can't help it. I can't help a thing. No, I was just, when you went live, my watch said, "Oh, you're live." No kidding. We're here.
That's all that was about?
That's all it was about. I went, oh, and it flashed your face real quick.
Really?
Yeah.
And here you were just warning me about the disposal cameras and all that.
No, that was what was scaring me. I saw your face on my wrist.
Well, hey, you know what you ought to do? Set that for your wake-up tone.
Oh, no. You've changed the intro, though, what you say. You realize that, right?
I did.
I know. All right. Just checking.
You'll have to tell me about it
You're
afterwards.
scaring me. All right.
So anyways, longtime listeners of the show will know that is my trusty producer, my sidekick, if you will, Dave the Save Warner. You look a little stressed. What's the matter?
A long day today.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I have no idea. Meeting to meeting.
Meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting,
Yeah.
huh?
And then I had people working on the backyard and expanding the patio back there.
Really?
You haven't seen that? Yeah.
No.
You got to look at that.
No, because I don't enter through the backyard.
They freewheel. Yeah. Well,
Unless I was going to sneak in, but
we can get you through the side door. But yeah. Anyway.
A lot of stress for you.
Yeah.
But don't worry about it. We're here to take that stress away.
Okay. Yeah. So you start asking me any questions about hockey.
Yeah, well, you're going to get plenty of those too. Don't you worry about that.
3-2-3-2-3-2.
Wing Gretzky.
Sweep. Gretzky.
There you
Got
go.
it. I just gave the playoffs.
There it is. There it is.
Sir. Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right. We'll let you settle down for a second.
All right.
I don't want to get you too, we expanded your knowledge a few weeks ago, and I don't want to get too far because I don't want that rubber band to break just yet.
I know.
So,
just the fact that I know the Capitals are up
Hey.
one in their series.
well,
I did that for you.
well, we'll get to that.
Yeah. All right.
Losing a little something.
You're losing something. Go ahead.
So, anyways, a few weeks ago, we had Drew Bray on. He came to us live from Annapolis, Maryland, which was an awesome experience because now he's my cousin and he's a hockey nut, just like, because imagine that hockey nutdom running in this family, right?
Yeah.
Insane. So, anyways, he's in town this week. On a sad note, our grandmother passed away, but God bless her, and she's in heaven right now, and that's a great thing. But anyways, silver lining of the cloud, we've got Drew in town. So he has decided to come down to the studio to talk to us about what's going on. And we're going to talk some NHL playoffs, some Utica Comets, and of course, he's going to tell us about a recent experience he had at his house.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So first of all, I'd like to say the only reason that I'm here is because Scott drove me, and he drove me all these wacky back roads, one-way streets, turning me all around, so I would not know the location of the secret bat cave where you guys record this thing.
It sort of is like Gotham City here. You're right.
It is. It's a very secret lair.
Where the heck did Jake go?
Yeah, it was all over the place, and
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
"Where are we?" And then we go through this gate, and there's a butler and a switch, and just slide down a pole. And, no, but really, guys, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I had a great time the first time that I was on. So I hope you guys, I hope we have a good show.
Oh, we will. Don't you worry about that. Absolutely. Because actually, the week you were on, you were going to come on the following week because we were doing our playoff preview show.
Yeah.
But you became a cause célèbre, if you will, down in your home. So tell us all about that.
So like I said, it feels like I'm beating a dead horse at this point about it. But after the story came out, and
we drove over one of those too.
Yeah. After the story came out on NHL.com, they decided that our local NBC affiliate, saw the story on NHL.com. And so they sent out a film crew to my house. They sent out the Capitals pregame and in-between period host and videographer, and they shot this long feature. And it ran on the actual NBC local news, and then it ran in Caps pregame live last night. So it was really cool.
That is awesome.
I think I saw it on Netflix coming soon.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I got to get some new material though. I'm riding this out too long. This answer thing, it's got done.
Keep coming on this show. We'll get some material for you. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's great. So obviously everybody knows you're a huge Caps fan.
Yeah. Man.
And you know what? There's this little thing called the NHL playoffs going on right now, which is kind of pretty much taking up all the air in the room in the hockey world.
Yeah. There's a few seasons in the year, right?
Yeah.
You have like regular season, hunting season, fishing season,
Yeah.
and then it's playoff season.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
so what's on TV tonight?
Yeah.
Hockey. What's on TV next night? Hockey.
And you know what I love?
Every night.
You know what I love especially about the first round? It's like anytime after 7 o'clock, there's 2 games on anywhere.
Yep.
At any time.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
the best.
Yeah. Families don't like it sometimes, but
No.
sorry, kids,
Playoff
Dad's going to be
season.
unavailable for about 2
Yeah.
months. That's it.
Jeez.
Exactly.
But being a huge Caps fan, your Caps are locked up in a big battle right now with the number 1 seeded Florida Panthers in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. So, well, go ahead, please.
Well, I was just going to say that, even though the series is 3-2, the Caps did drop the game last night in Florida. But I did say when Dave the Save and I were talking about the playoffs going in that the Capitals were not going to be an easy out for the Panthers at all.
Yeah. And, it's funny because I didn't want to say that when I was on the show because I sound like a super homer. But
No, you were afraid of jinxing them is what you were afraid of.
That too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like I said, that Panthers team reminds me of those 2007, 2008 Caps teams that, I was watching very closely, and they would get so far, win the President's Trophy, out the first round,
Right.
win the President's Trophy, out the second round. And I think that, I don't know that that's Florida's ultimate fate. They're a good team. They're going to be a good team for a long time. But when I watched the styles of play in that game, like the Capitals play like playoff veterans. It looked like it last night for
Right.
1.5 periods.
Sure.
4 straight and it was over. But I think there's still a lot of hockey to be played in this season or in this series. So
I think you're right. And what's being a Caps fan, being a great analysis like you are, you're fantastic at it. Why is it that the Caps are able to keep this series as close as they can? Because a lot of people were picking the Panthers to just blow them out.
right. So here's the thing. In order to win a game against the Panthers, I think that the Capitals have to force the Panthers to dump the puck at least 15 times. Okay. These guys want to skate the puck into the zone every single time.
Sure.
And as long as the Capitals are standing them up at the blue line and making them dump it, those forwards don't want to go dig that puck out of the corner. But guess what? On the other side of the coin, that's really good playoff hockey too. So the Caps want to do that. They want to dump pressure, force those defensemen to make a turnover. So I really think that if the Capitals can stick to their game, but I saw it last night in the collapse, I'm watching Caps defensemen not playing responsibly, right? You make the safe play. There's no reason for you to push. You're up 3 goals.
Right.
There's no reason for you to make a dangerous play, dump the puck deep. It doesn't make any sense. And I know they didn't practice today, but I believe they had meetings today. And I bet they're going to be looking at a lot of film, and there's going to be a lot of guys whose ears are going to be hurting from being yelled at for not playing the right way. So I'm hoping they can turn it around and make it a good series.
Well, they've been pretty darn good on the penalty kill, actually.
Special teams altogether.
Right.
Penalty kill and power play has been great. Power play has been better than it was the last month of the season.
Right.
So it's clearly not special teams.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Do you want to talk about the Oshie hit?
Yeah, you know what? But before we do that, I just have to say, Dave, because we text back and forth.
I know
right?
about the Oshie hit.
And you do?
Took him out the last 6 minutes of the game or something.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Well done, Dave. Yeah.
I'm impressed. See this? Expanding the mind.
Yeah,
Look at this.
I'll tell you what.
Pretty soon he's not even able to get through the door.
Right.
No, we were in stretch mode. Remember? We weren't.
I'm just waiting for that.
Before we get to the Oshie hit, I want to compliment Dave on the way that you have embraced hockey so much since episode 1. It's incredible. Like, I mean, he's, you may not be, talking every little hint and speak of it, but I see the evolution, right?
The evolution's coming, but don't let him fool you. It's not like he did not completely know anything. Okay. And I found that out last summer.
You found that out, and as it was all, because when you're old like this, it comes back slowly. But
you call that a save?
No, I call that a wrist shot that went whistling by my head.
Right.
Did you ever get to see that?
No.
Oh,
you might as well get it out of your system.
Oh my God, I have to go look.
Yeah, so we were having a little street hockey thing for the kids out in front of the Y here last year, and he showed up my little falls to take pictures and all that, and I was just just kind of screwing around, and he's like, "Oh, let me take a shot." I'm laughing. I'm like, "Yeah, okay." The guy who's been telling me for 2 years he knows nothing about hockey and all that. Well, When you see the footage of Mario Lemieux over here,
You can watch it on the monitor
let me
right
turn it on.
behind you there.
Yeah.
We'll play this out.
let's get this out of our
Yeah,
systems.
I know.
Yeah.
Didn't know where the puck was there, Scott.
Well, listen, I'm normally a forward. I don't play goal.
Yeah.
I don't play goal.
Okay.
So
All right. So the Oshie hit. All right. What?
let's talk about it.
What'd
you think?
I'll tell you what. It was cringeworthy to me. Either way, I don't think. I mean, obviously, Oshie's not that kind of player.
Right.
I think that it was a collision that was going to happen, and I think that when he lost the puck the other way, and you know how it is, you lose the puck, you immediately turn your entire body to it. And I don't think Oshie was necessarily targeting the head, but I think the contact was kind of primarily to the head.
Yeah.
And it also was really bad because it actually ended up leading to the game, to the go-ahead goal.
Right.
And I was like, it was like, I mean, I was happy that we
Yeah,
scored, but I'm
yeah.
like kind of looking around.
Oh.
I thought it probably deserved at least a fine. As soon as it happened, my wife and I looked at each other and we were like, ooh, that might be a game,
Right.
you know? But I mean, it was really kind of old time hockey though, right? It was a big hit,
Yeah.
laying to the other side. It was like, whoa, that's, I was excited.
It's true. You're absolutely right. And in the 90s, that was a
Scott Stevens, that's
nobody's
right.
even
That's a-
thinking
right.
twice about it, right? But
Yeah, the Bray family here in Annapolis says it was so cringy.
For sure.
so cringy. But this day and age, they're obviously the focus is on preventing head hits,
Yeah.
intentional or not. I don't think TJ Oshie's that kind of player either, especially knowing that TJ Oshie has a problem with concussions in his
Yeah,
history
for
himself.
sure, yeah.
So I can't see him being that kind of guy.
Yeah.
But with that said, and we're going to talk about this in the next series we're going to cover too, NHL rules say, I mean, you pretty much have to be in control of yourself at all times.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, obviously accidents are going to happen. It's a high-speed sport, right?
Yeah.
You got guys that are out there skating at 20 miles an hour on skates,
Yeah.
okay, there's going to be times
Yeah.
when contact is going to be made and it's not going to be pretty.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But there's also that whole crackdown, so to speak,
Yeah.
on high hits and all that. So,
Well,
sometimes
the
you
worst
get
part of
away
that
with
game-
them.
The worst part of having it not even be a penalty was that game was horrifically officiated from the start. I
Yeah.
mean, there were penalties left and right. And that's like in the third period, they put away the whistle.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I can't referee the game. I'm happy that it happened. The dude didn't get hurt. Although, was it Ekblad? Who did he hit? I can't remember.
It was, oh gosh.
Bennett. It was Bennett.
Sam Bennett. Yes,
And-
thank you.
And if you look earlier in the series and look at some of this hit that Bennett laid on John
I was just
Carlson
going to
real
say,
high.
he's a pretty hard-nosed player himself.
Right.
So,
I mean, I'm not really, crying for him, but I mean, I like I said, it probably deserved a fine.
it's funny you just mentioned the officiating because here's my beef with officiating, right? I understand that it's an extremely hard job to do. I wouldn't want to do it personally. And I mean, I remember back in the day when they had one referee, it almost seemed like games were actually called better,
Yeah.
as opposed when you have two now. But I think a big part of the problem is twofold. Number one, you have a lot of younger officials coming into the league. A lot of the veterans have retired and
Yeah.
moved
for
on,
sure.
right?
Yep.
And two, and even more so, because these guys and girls are just looking to get some experience. They got to get,
Yep.
as
Reps.
time goes on,
Yeah.
they'll get better, as with any job, right? But I think, too, that hockey, and this goes across the board for all leagues, has overcomplicated the rules so bad that now, especially if you have a younger official, they don't know what to do because
Right.
they're like, well, technically it could be this, but there's this and there's this and there's this. Whereas back in, when we came
Yeah,
up,
you're right. You just
70s,
don't do
80s,
it. Yeah,
90s, it was pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Right.
And like,
I'll even use like goalie interference for it.
Great.
There's so much gray area on that
Yeah.
now, right? It used to be if you touch the goalie in the blue paint, forget it.
yeah.
Goals waved off, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, now, you can make contact if it wasn't a part of the play originally. It's kind of like the NFL with their catch rule.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Everything is so overcomplicated.
I mean,
now.
that happened the other night to the Caps on the game-winning goal where Huberdeau had made contact with
Right.
Samsonov in the crease. And honestly, I said it. I'm like, that's not goalie interference because even though he was in the crease and he touched him, it didn't affect his ability to stop the puck.
right.
But you're asking a young official to
At that
make
rate of
that
speed.
call in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah.
Chris Rooney was not on duty that night.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you're like looking at younger officials, and yeah, that's a lot of pressure for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, and sometimes you're almost better off saying, yeah, it
Yep,
was a
you're
goal, just so you can automatically go to review.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Toronto. Right.
You know, so.
And then
I mean,
we reviewing every call.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. I mean, that's got to get reeled in a little bit. I mean, but yeah, like I said, I just think it's become so complicated now that
sure.
it leaves all this gray area and all this room for interpretation and argument. And it's like,
but it's always been bad. Like as far as like, oh, we have to even out the calls.
Yeah,
you hear every announcer say that.
Right.
And you're just like, well, they've gotten 4 penalties in a row. They're due for another one.
Right.
It's bad.
Or as Gretzky used to call them, the Revlon calls because they're makeup.
Exactly. Yeah.
I heard one the other night in the game, and it was interference. I thought the whole idea was to hit everybody out there every time, and I heard him go interference. I was like, what?
Well, because you can't hit somebody who doesn't have the puck.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's no fun.
Yeah.
This isn't rugby on ice, okay? They're trying to get away from that, Dave. Yeah. But Samsonov has been a pleasant surprise. I mean, he's actually really stepped up.
Yeah, for sure. And I've really been pleasantly surprised. I mean, the game-winning goal the other night really wasn't his fault. He made a big save and gave up a really big rebound, but on the second shot, he had no chance. I mean, the guy just hammered it.
Forget it.
But yeah, he's been pretty strong. I mean, if you look at his save percentage, he's up in the top 5 in the playoffs. So yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, why wouldn't you be?
Finally, we have a little stability.
Yeah, right. Imagine that. They're calling up Ole the goalie. Hey, listen, can you still put the pads on?
Well,
could you be an e-bug?
Well, it's funny. When Barry Trotz was coaching the Caps, Mitch Korn is his goalie coach, and anybody that Mitch coaches ends up being top of the league goalie, always the best. So amongst the Caps fans chatter, when Barry Trotz got fired, everyone was like, "What's Mitch Korn doing?" Like, we call Mitch Korn.
Well, he was spotted in Washington D.C. today.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
Twitter was like, "Where's Waldo?"
Right. Yeah, like a Mystics game, right?
Yeah, something like that. What do you think about that anyway? Think he deserved to go?
Absolutely not. It's Lamoriello's ego all day. I mean, he's won the Jack Adams. He's won Lamoriello GM of the year.
Look what he's done with that roster.
And yes, but look at this past year. They started the game on what, 15-game road trip because the building wasn't done. Yeah. You can't blame him for that. No. I mean, firing him was an ego move.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get a real good coach next year.
And they were hit. I mean, every team got hit by COVID.
Yeah.
But they were really hit by
they were decimated.
So, yeah, I don't understand that one at all myself. I mean, I know the Islanders have problems scoring goals, and Barry Trotz is obviously a defensive first
coach, yeah,
right. But Lamoriello built that roster to his coaching style.
Totally.
So what are you going to do now?
Right.
You think you're going to change that overnight?
Who are you going to put in there?
That's what I mean.
I mean, to be fair, it's always the same number of recycled coaches.
Right.
Change around the league, but I don't see any of them being a good fit for the roster they've built. It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
like you said, somebody's going to get a real good coach.
Yeah,
they're already talking Philly.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Imagine that little payback the Islanders though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's going to have that day, sir.
Definitely, 100%.
Speaking of paybacks, though, let's talk about 2 more teams that absolutely can't stand each other, and that would be the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers. So the Pens had the Rangers' backs against the wall last night, and it looked like things were going their way. Really, I mean, I thought for sure Pittsburgh was going to finish the series out last night.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, even your father was like, "Man, I'm done with these guys." Like,
you should have seen that. Oh my God, Dave.
I knew that would be like crazy.
Actually, I think that's probably why he's not here. To be honest with you, he's not at my nephew's baseball game. I think he's just hiding somewhere.
But
because
they won.
I know, but you have to understand, right? So, as I mentioned, our grandmother passed away, right? So we had the family gathering
right
after the services. Well, we had to remind Dad about what happened over and over and over again with the Rangers series, right?
Right, but then he's on our side. He's like, "These guys are terrible. They're not going to win another game.
That's it. It's over. I'll be going to hell. I don't know what the hell's the matter with
our team." He was all salty. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Miserable.
I like that. He was salty.
He definitely was.
That's good.
So my guess is he probably didn't even watch the game last night.
No.
I'm going to play shuffleboard.
Well, really, to win that game, all they had to do was concuss Sidney Crosby.
Imagine that. Imagine
take him out.
Did you see that hit?
I did. It was terrible. I mean, that guy should definitely face supplemental discipline. I mean, it was
not gonna though.
I know that was intentional. And I mean, I get it, man. You know, the Caps, I hate the Pens more than anyone. But I respect Crosby a lot. I mean, I don't like to play against him. But if you watch every shift he's on, that guy gets killed. I mean, cross checks, slashes. I mean, that's kind of compensates for Crosby's talent for people who can't stop him.
Right.
But like, there's lines you can't cross. Like, you can't punch a guy in the face like that. You know? I think it's a little ridiculous.
You can if you're fighting.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, good on the Rangers for picking up a big win, but it's really a shame that Sid's out of the playoffs.
Well, not yet. They said he's
right.
They traveled to Pittsburgh today, and he's going to be evaluated by doctors
upper
in
body
Pittsburgh.
Injury, right?
Well, it's the head. Everybody knows it,
100%.
right? I love those gameships too, right? I mean, come on, it's the head. Just say it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. As far as the hit goes, you know, if you watch it, and of course, it's over and over and over again, all over the place. You cannot, this angle, that angle, blah, 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 blah.
For sure.
So what they don't talk about is what happened. Trouba actually tripped him first.
Yes.
Right. So that's why he was in that awkward position as it was.
Right.
Right. So I want to say, and I hope that I'm right, that Trouba was intending to hit him when he was straight up, right? With a shoulder. But because of, you know, whether he intended to trip him or not, I don't know. I'm not inside of his head. I have no idea. But when he started, and again, we just talked about it, right? You're playing a game that you're 15, 20 miles an hour at all times. You really can't stop on a dime. So my problem was he's got his elbow out like this. He's got the bow out.
Right. But
it's like, come on.
You may not have been intending to hit him in the face, though.
I don't think
that's
he was.
the difference, right? You just want to let him know you're there. You give him a little physicality,
right?
But again, sometimes it happens, right? It doesn't go the way you want, but
and you know, here we talked about it. I mean, contact gets made.
Yep.
But we've also just talked about it that they want to get headshots out of the game and stuff like that. Now, the part that I found astonishing was you can get a 4-minute penalty for accidentally clipping somebody with your stick and having a little paper cut.
Blood, right.
It's so I almost sometimes think it's like old school WWE where they got the blood capsules in their mouth. Oh, where's the right time? You know,
is hockey the only sport where blood determines
the
level of penalty that you get?
It's great, isn't it?
It's insane. Is he bleeding? Oh, that's 4.
Yep, that's right. Oh, you know, if you could have just held it in just a little longer, you know.
Because that's the first thing they do. Like if they get clipped up high, they're like touching every part of their.
Oh yeah, they're looking. They're looking
every time.
You got the little razor blade in their glove.
Yeah.
You know,
they got the little ketchup packs from the restaurant before the game. Got them stuffed up their nose.
It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh boy. But you know, I mean, but without Sidney Crosby, that Penguins team is an entirely different team. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
For as many, you know, stars as they have.
Yep.
Without Sid, it's a no-go.
Yeah, he holds it together.
Because I mean, I know like a lot of people love Geno Malkin and all that. I'm not a big Geno Malkin fan
neither.
myself. I think he's somebody who completely benefited from having Sidney Crosby on his team all those years to take away all those tough matchups.
Yep.
Not saying he's not a good player.
Yeah, I don't think he has the same grind.
And you know, if you notice after Crosby left the game and the Rangers started mounting their comeback.
Yeah, they're a little buzz.
Yeah, I was like, everybody's looking at their phone.
I know.
Yeah, right.
No, mine's not buzzing.
I know. That's what I was looking for.
After they started mounting their comeback, Malkin went and took that stupid penalty that put the Rangers back on the plot, and I think they scored on it.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's like, dude, you know, not for nothing, your captain just got taken out with an injury, and I understand the frustration.
Yeah,
but you keep your head.
Yeah,
right. Now your team's looking to you. You still get you're an alternate. You know, guys are looking to you.
Lead.
And he didn't. You know, and it's funny because with the Penguins, I'll take Crosby's line out of the equation. They haven't done anything.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, they're putting
Louis Domingue until
the
third period last night has been carrying. Believe it or not, the AHL goalie has been carrying them.
Playing great.
The Rangers, on the other hand, right? I mean, I picked the Rangers to win. I figure they got too much fire. You know, Shesterkin's having an MVP type season, but with the Rangers, and there's going to be a lot of Ranger fans that are going to be really mad at me for saying this, but let's just be completely honest. They live and die on Shesterkin and the power play.
Yeah.
If those two aren't clicking, they're an average 5-on-5 team.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah, but I mean,
so
if the power play is the difference and you don't take penalties, it puts you up above. But playoffs different though, you know. It's like it's the same thing. Like sometimes they put the whistles away. Sometimes you get it done. A ton of power plays. That series is new. That series is it's renewed right now. Whereas I thought that the Pens had it easily. After the injury to Crosby, I think it's going to get real interesting real fast.
I mean, obviously, if Crosby plays tomorrow night,
he's not. I bet the farm he's not.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean,
the farm.
Hey.
I don't know.
I don't own a farm, but
I was going to say, what are you growing on that farm before we make the bet here? Hold on a second.
No, it could be worth a lot more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But Sid's history of concussions, I mean, he's missed a significant amount of time over the years from concussions.
Well, that's exactly it, and I wonder because I mean, after that happened, it didn't look like he was affected. I mean, he wasn't wobbly,
right? But
you could tell he took a shot.
Yeah,
I mean, there was no doubt about it. But it was kind of hard to tell if it was, did he get the wind knocked out of him? What was going on at that particular point?
Yeah, I would guess he's going to miss at least one. I mean, he may not miss two, but the report is going to be the same every day.
Right.
He's day-to-day upper body injury.
And here's the thing with concussions, you can't bury that anymore.
No.
Right?
Yeah, you really can't.
If somebody, and they know they went on with a concussion, they're going to be having a microscope on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas if somebody's got, say, like a sore shoulder or, has a hurt knee or something like that, they can kind of play the game a little bit with that, right?
For sure.
Whereas like, it's undisclosed. And, take the whole Bill Belichick school of injury,
Yeah, that's going to be good. I mean, that series has definitely changed.
Yeah, it certainly has. It has. It's going to be very interesting to see who steps up for the Penguins.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't see anybody on the roster who's done anything, all year long that says, I'm the one to come up and take this role, or maybe not fill Sid's role, but if Malkin steps up, fill some other somebody else's role on the second line.
Sure.
I just don't know if I see it.
Maybe a former LA King, Jeff Carter. The guy's like the Energizer, but he just keeps playing. I mean,
but playoff experience, man.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
exactly. And plus, there's reports that Tristan Jarry might be coming back.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard he was skating. Yeah,
I mean, Louis Domingue is the reason, basically, besides Crosby, that they're where they are.
I mean,
who knew they were going to get that contribution from him? But I think you still have to go to Jarry if he is indeed back.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Well, listen, but there are some people that would say, no, you got to ride the hot goaltender.
That's what I say. That's my philosophy. You win, you're in.
Yeah, but man, could you imagine the heat that would be on Mike Sullivan and the coaching staff
if they lost
that and they stuck with Domingue and they had their all-star goalie sitting on the bench?
Yeah. You got to dance with who brung you.
Or rung what you brung, huh?
Yep.
What do you think? Who's going to finish that series out the winner?
I want to say the Rangers because I hate the Penguins. So really, I'm a real bad person to ask that question because, I'm no fan of the Rangers.
I was just going to say,
but I don't.
Okay, let me rephrase this for you. Okay, let's say the Capitals do pull this out against Florida.
Mm-hmm. Who do you want to play?
Who do you want?
Right. Honestly, probably the Pens.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, and this is one of the reasons that even though I hate the Pens, it was important for me in 2018 that the road to the Capital Stanley Cup went through Pittsburgh. We had to win on the way. I didn't want somebody else to beat them. It was a big monkey off our back to beat them.
Right.
And I think that rivalry in the second round of the playoffs, fireworks, man.
Yeah.
That would be must-see TV.
Yeah, it would. It would.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize, too, is that at the end of this season, Malkin, Chris Letang, and Brian Russ are all unrestricted free agents. This could be like the last dance for them.
Yeah.
As far as with the Penguins, anyway.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even though I think Letang's 35, I think somebody will still offer him ridiculous money because he's still playing at a high level.
Yeah, very much so. He's a great defensive defenseman, and he's a great puck-moving defenseman.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't throw a lot of money at Malkin. That's just me. Way too inconsistent, injured a lot,
Yeah.
Brian Russ is one of those underrated, under-the-radar guys that, he scored 30 goals again this year? Didn't realize that. Oh, look at that. So I think somebody's going to throw some money at him, too.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be extra motivation for Crosby to get back, too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
we'll see. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I tell you, I had the Rangers picked. I picked the Rangers in this series.
I mean, they have so many weapons.
But the thing is, though, the reasons that I picked the Rangers, they aren't doing it.
Yeah.
They aren't. And here's the other thing to think about. You don't think that the Penguins aren't going to be playing with a little extra motivation? come tomorrow night.
Right, yeah.
After what happened?
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, on home ice.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oof.
And especially if Crosby doesn't play.
Yeah.
You don't think that that's not going to be a win it for Sid kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
It definitely will.
you know, I think it's going to be the Pens now. I mean,
You're
obviously,
Don't
I gotta stick with the
No.
Ranger pick.
All right.
But I've been thinking this whole time after watching this series, this is going to be the one that sinks me right here.
Yeah.
There goes my bracket.
But here's the thing, right? And this is what's a myth in the NHL is the switch flipping. There's no such thing. It's not like the Rangers are going to go, oh, they don't have Sid anymore. Now we're going to do and play the way we're
going to
supposed
play.
to play.
Yeah.
The way we're supposed to play to win. And let me tell you something. I've seen so many Caps teams that thought that there was going to be switch flipping when you got to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. It's a myth.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, maybe the guy going out gives you confidence, but I don't believe in that switch flipping.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. It really is.
I'm sticking with the Rangers.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I have to because that's who I picked. I thought we had an earthquake going on here for a second.
Really. Give me a break.
What is that?
Guy across the street with his little toy car.
Oh
Goodness!
Yeah.
I thought we were under attack.
Yeah, I know, I was
We're
gonna
in the
say.
bunker here. We're fine.
I thought you had a vacuum cleaner going or something. I was like, what is that?
Putin's just outside the door.
So, geez, don't say that. Oh my God. Don't even say that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I tell you, maybe this would be a good time to go to commercial break then. What do you say?
Yeah, well,
Why don't we go to commercial break now, and we'll talk about the rest of the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference and the Comets when we come back, and hopefully by then,
yeah, okay.
Are you there? Or he's
I'm
gone?
there. No, we can go.
You want to go?
Let's do
All right,
it.
let's do
Sounds
it.
good.
All right, so let's put up our cards here from our friends at the Balls Army. Who, by the way, I think they're going to be here next
Oh,
week.
you want the cards?
I want the cards.
God.
I want the cards.
All right. Man.
There they are.
Oh.
All right. Just a few words here from our friends at the Balls Army. This is Josh Amodio's Priceless Inspections. It's a quality home inspection service. You can contact Josh at 315-525-8725 for all your home inspection needs. And from the Balls Army as well, Mr. Scott Schuster has Epic DJ Service. You can contact him at 315-219-3568 for all your DJ services needs. And let me tell you something. Seeing these guys in action at the Adirondack Bank Center in Section 203 as the Balls Army, you want this guy as your DJ no matter what.
That's true.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do a little bit of breakaway trivia. We'll go to our commercial break, and then hopefully everything will be calmed down by the time we come back.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Breakaway trivia. What I want to know is who has played the most playoff games in NHL history? The answer when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
Just for you.
I'm sure you did. And you did such a good job. You know what? As a matter of fact, you did such a good job. It seems like things calmed down around here a little bit.
Well,
lower.
yeah,
Lower.
a little bit. Yeah.
Lower.
Yeah.
Breakaway trivia. I'll give you guys that question one more time. Who has played the most games or playoff games in NHL history? Dave.
So any person we're talking about.
Yep. Playoff games. Just want to know who's played the most.
Human.
Is it?
Yeah, it's got to be, yeah.
Human?
Give me a mascot.
Gordie Howe.
Good guess.
Yeah, that would have been what came to my head first. But I know you enough, Scott, that it's not going to be Gordie Howe.
Well, I was going to ask him, is it a big name or somebody that I'd never guessed kind of thing?
I'm trying to think of eras and when people's careers were really long.
Do you guys want a hint?
Sure.
Yeah.
He's in the intermission show.
Intermission
On ESPN.
show. Okay. Well, I know it's not Paul Bissonnette.
Yeah, you know.
Um,
No, I didn't say anything about penalty minutes in the
No.
NHL.
Wayne Gretzky?
Nope. I'm surprised he didn't say that.
Don't do that to me.
I'm surprised he didn't say that. No, Chris Chelios,
Oh, yeah, that
Oh,
makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah, he
Played
played for a
forever.
billion years. Yep.
266 playoff games.
And when
he
you're with
played.
Detroit, you're in the playoffs.
Pretty
And-
much.
all his career, yeah. Until
You
even
know-
when he went to Chicago, then he went to Chicago and they were good.
Yeah, and even when he was in Montreal, they were
Yep.
good. So, but actually, Dave's Gordie Howe guess was pretty good. The only problem with Gordie is when he played, it was the original 6 era, and they only had a maximum of 8 playoff
Right,
games.
yeah,
So
he only had 8.
it was but
Okay.
it was still a good
So
guess.
that-
So
Yeah.
So the format kept me out of it.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that
Yeah.
was my first thought
Yeah.
was Gordy. Then I was like, no,
Yeah.
maybe.
yeah, basically,
Getting better.
you're getting there. See, and you didn't say Wayne Gretzky. I was amazed by that.
I did that.
I
just
was waiting
you.
for that. You're getting better. That rubber band.
Yeah.
Okay, back to our playoff discussion. And speaking of Gordie, why don't we do a team that, well, in a sort of roundabout play he once played for?
Okay, we're
How
going
about-
for the Canes.
All right. So
Yeah.
it's going to be the Bruins and the Hurricanes, who, as we know, were the Hartford Whalers, who Gordie Howe did at one time indeed play for. So the Canes are up 3-2. They're playing tonight, as a matter of fact, in Boston, game 6. Bruins' backs are against the wall. I'm going to tell you guys something. This was my upset pick. I had Boston in 7. I really did. I just think Boston was always one of those teams that just seems to find a way to win somehow, some way. But what I wasn't expecting was them to have all kinds of problems winning on the road like they are.
Yeah,
They go down to Carolina, they get blown out.
They get buzzsawed. And you know, I mean, it's really interesting because both of these rosters, Carolina has their roster has a decent amount of playoff experience, right? Boston's roster has a ton of playoff experience. However, Boston is also much older than the Canes.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm not comparing their playoff experiences. I'm just saying they both have enough.
Mhm.
Boston has more, but they're old.
Sure.
Right? I mean, that's
buy
an
that.
old team. It's been a long season. It's hard to doubt the ability of Pasta and Marchand to get it done. Bergeron, I mean,
Yeah.
these are
Taylor Hall's been outstanding.
yes. What a great pickup.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, from the Devils, that was ridiculous.
No, they got him from the Sabres.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
I forgot about
because
this.
he went. Taylor Hall went like on the
He
NHL
crawled
tour
underneath
for a
it,
little
yeah.
while there.
Crawled underneath the boards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great pickup for Boston. He's played well for them. But I'm still picking the Canes in that series.
Yeah, I think I got a little fooled by Boston's goaltending, to be honest with you. Jeremy Swayman was fantastic as a rookie this season, but this is the playoffs. Entirely different, right? And Linus Ullmark, I always liked him when he was in Buffalo.
Yep.
Linus Ullmark never played a playoff game when he was in Buffalo.
No,
No
yeah.
offense, Dave, but I don't want you to get upset being a
It's
Sabres
mercy.
fan.
You know why he's picking on me.
Yeah, yeah.
right?
No,
it's
he
mercy.
He makes me pick a team at the beginning and show one,
Yeah.
and so I picked Buffalo. They're close, whatever.
Yeah, I know. There's
You
nothing
know.
wrong with that.
Well, I just figure a guy like you're always doing research and stuff like that. I figure,
Not on hockey.
well, why not? You can tell me about anything about any space shuttle or satellite
Sure.
orbiting the Earth.
I
or
did
whatever.
research this morning, as you can see.
I know.
Yeah,
But see,
yeah.
it's just we've expanded your horizons so much. And besides that, don't jump on the Sabres because I'm telling you, they're going to be good in a couple years.
Yeah, well, you get enough.
We're going to
first
talk
round
about their
picks.
farm
You get
club.
enough first round picks, right? Anybody can.
Yeah.
I can put a team together.
Not necessarily.
Well, it's a lack of money.
Yeah.
Wow. But no, we're going to talk about the Sabres farm team a little bit later on. But no, so like I said, I really thought Boston was going to do something with this series. I thought they were going to be my upset pick.
I mean,
They win tonight. I mean,
Yeah, they
all
got a
bets
couple
are off.
wins. Yeah, well, it's always the way in the playoffs. Like I'm hoping same thing for the Caps, right?
right?
It's like you get to the point where like, well, if we win tonight, it's your series is even now. It's it's this
Yeah.
number, so
Yeah.
that's the best thing.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, and you know what's really great about this this playoff season so far? As far as series go, there's only been one blowout
Oh,
series,
yeah.
really. Every other series can still potentially go games or 7 games.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah, but we predicted that, didn't we? We said Colorado was going to sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we say that?
Well,
so good.
you said that.
Gee,
Remember?
I was just
Nostradamus
jogging
over
it.
here.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that one in a minute. You can hold your gloating in for just a minute, okay? If you can.
It's hard.
Watch that rubber band.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Does Boston have any chance at all of pulling this out?
If they win tonight, yeah, of course, all bets are off. because it's, it's all about the big mo, right? It's momentum, right?
Right.
The Caps coached elsewhere, Bruce Boudreau, Gabby. He had this saying that he would say in the Caps locker room. He said, "There's two things, and they're the exact same thing, but they have different names. There's ruts and grooves. When you're in a groove, you're rolling, and when you're in a rut, they look the same.
Yeah, I like that.
It's really tough to get out. Well, Bruce is quite the hockey philosopher, and so this is the thing, right? So Boston puts together 2 in a row, and then Carolina's like, we got to come out punching.
Right.
Like it's especially in the playoffs, because the difference between a rut and a groove is 2 games, right?
Yeah.
You get 2, you're in a groove.
That's true.
Right?
You know what? I like that. I got to remember that. I do have to remember that. And by the way, I was just checking the notes here real quick. We both picked Boston, Dave. So
I'm sticking with
okay.
Boston.
No, I'm just saying. I
wasn't bailing.
I had to go through this and see. Okay, who picked where? We really didn't deviate too much.
Not a lot. There were 1 or 2 where we
Yeah,
we did that.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I wasn't here. I didn't have to make these picks.
It was high pressure, man. It was high pressure. Let me tell you.
I was carrying him the whole show.
Oh yeah,
So,
you should.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he was carrying me.
Yeah, and
Sure.
Barry's giving us play-by-play here. He says, interesting game, Charlotte and Bridgeport, with 3 minutes left in the first. Charlotte leading 5-3.
Ooh,
Yeah.
really?
So
Atlantic Division AHL
little,
battle.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
I like it. Because let's look back here. We both picked the Rangers.
Yep.
You and I.
Yep.
I went 6. You went 5. And now let's see. We're both Boston. So now I'll tell you what. This is where we differed. We're going to move on to Tampa Bay and Toronto.
Oh,
This was a series I was looking forward to watching.
yes. And remember, I had said the last time that I was on, I said, you know what? If it's Tampa, because it was looking like that was going to be the alignment, was going to be Tampa Bay
Right.
and Toronto. And then in the next, they had like 3 games in a row, not in a row, but it was like a game and then another. And they were playing each other toward the end of the season quite a bit. And Tampa Bay was hanging 8 on them, 6 on them. Like they were rolling. I'm like, man, maybe I was wrong. These young kids in Toronto are not going to do it. But it's been a really good series. Hart says I want to pick against Tampa Bay because I want the champs out. And
But it's hard to pick against the champs.
it's hard to pick against. It's really hard to it's heart versus head, right? You know that you should pick them. They have so much experience. Vasilevsky's a monster. Their offense is ridiculous. Every weapon in the book. And then you got Victor Hedman on D. I mean,
Right.
It's a murderer's row. And
we saw Hart versus Head on the Kings, I think.
yeah. Yeah, some we should just abstain from picking.
Hey,
let's
listen,
be honest.
we're going to get to that one, and you might be eating some crow there, pal. So
They're playing really well.
thank you.
But these kids in Toronto, man, they fly.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
they
do.
have the speed. And what's interesting about that is, again, playoff experience versus a team that throughout the regular season could really put up numbers. Head is always got to be the champs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great series, though. I love watching those games.
This has been a fantastic series. Now, I went Tampa in 7. Dave went Toronto in 6, so he could actually, depending on what happens tonight,
Yeah.
he might actually, get the
Big
ding
double,
bonus
yeah.
point, right? I went with Tampa just because, like you said, it's hard to pick against the champs for starters, and Toronto has yet to prove anything in the playoffs.
Yep.
They've yet to do it. I think we referenced Ric Flair last time we talked. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
That's
Woo!
right.
And
That's
they ain't beating nobody. Fortunately for Toronto, they didn't have to face Boston again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, kudos to the Maple Leafs. I mean, Austin Matthews has been an animal,
Yeah, for sure.
an absolute animal.
And I mean,
Mitch Marner's looked great too.
Yeah, but sometimes it's really hard to watch Nylander because, sometimes he gets they used to make fun of Ovechkin where he's just like cruising, what do they call it, a diamond over the head.
Yep,
He's just going. I mean, Nylander does that sometimes. I saw a clip last week where the puck is going to the corner. It's a live puck. It's not an iced puck. And the Tampa Bay defenseman skates right by him and gets it. He's just coasting into the puck. I mean, you can see that something's going on in his head. Like he's thinking, like, where's he going to move the puck? Can I make a big play? Take a hit to make a play. But then he doesn't see the guy skates right by him, takes the puck, and you're just like,
oh well,
dude, it's the playoffs.
right? It's like you're supposed to go after him. But then again, the other night he has 2 goals and he lights it up.
The skill is undoubtable.
Yeah,
but if he gets in the right place, but you got to play hard.
Yeah,
all the time.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I tell you though, I wonder, and especially if the Maple Leafs lose this series, how much longer are they going to put up with John Tavares as far as not producing?
Yeah,
For all that money they get, I understand he's the local kid, You know, he's from Toronto. He wanted to play for Toronto. He actually took kind of a discount to come to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I mean,
I don't know. It's tough. I think who was really going to be on the hot seats, that young GM.
Oh, Kyle Dubas?
Yeah. I mean, they took a flyer on him as a really young kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, his resume was decent. I mean, he'd been a GM for like minors for like 10 years.
Well, he's a big analytics guy.
Yeah. And here we have it, right? I mean, I don't hate analytics at all, but you bring in the young guy. If your roster's not producing, you're the one that put this together.
Right.
So I think that if anyone's job is on the line, it's probably going to be his.
Right.
Tavares, he'll take the heat in the press.
Sure.
But I think this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are they going to do? You can't trade that contract. Yeah. There's no way.
No one's taking that. Yeah.
You know, the only thing you can do is complain about it a little bit, you know, and yeah, but you're right about like with analytics. It's a great tool.
Yeah.
But you can't base, I mean, you have to have that perfect combo of the analytics side, but also the eye test. Yeah. I've always been a big eye test guy. Always.
Yeah, but do you remember that first season that Marner and Matthews came into the league? Marner was the giant surprise.
Right.
I thought that Matthews was, I mean, everyone knew Matthews was going to be a stud.
Sure.
He had 4 goals that first night.
Yeah.
But Marner was hanging with him. Everyone's like, who's Mitch Marner?
Yeah.
And now having those two together and growing up, it reminds me of Patrick Kane and Johnny Taves. Yeah. And you see that chemistry that those guys have and this level of skill, and they're just getting better.
Awesome, man. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He's so talented.
Yeah.
Did you know that he got so good because he played a lot of like small area games when he was younger?
Yes.
Because he grew up in Arizona.
Yeah.
And they didn't have like a lot of ice, like full on ice rinks, right? So apparently the story goes is I guess his parents got him like a lot of the synthetic
tiles.
ice.
Yep.
And that's how he learned. He just, playing in a size of, like a garage the size of this.
Yep.
That's how
I
he
thought
got
you were going to say he was doing deck hockey or something.
No, but you know what? You should. We could put some deck tiles in here.
Yeah,
we
for
could.
sure.
Yeah,
we'll do demos like they do on
we could talk to Kelly about this.
Yeah, there you go. See, exactly. But just to close out with that, I will say that, Tampa Bay has played an awful lot of hockey over these past 3 years.
You're right. Yeah,
and I didn't think it would catch up to him just yet, but it does look like it's catching up to him, especially Andrei Vasilevsky. Now, he keep this in mind: is the kid's he's an animal. There's no doubt about it, but the thing is, he's already been on 2 full cup runs. I think they went to the conference finals.
Yeah, the year before. No, it was against the Caps.
Right. So I mean, there you go. Right.
Yeah.
And he played, I think it was 80% of Tampa's games this year.
He plays all the time.
They didn't do him any favors as far as getting him any kind of rest. So I think, you can be the young, completely in shape athlete all you want. After a while, you're going to wear down a little bit. And I think that's what's finally starting to happen.
Yeah. And that's a big rig. I mean, and you're talking up, down, side to side.
As goaltenders, especially.
Rig.
Exactly. Yep. It's like being a gymnast,
and
I don't know. And here's the thing too, like if they completely worn that team out, they don't have any wiggle room going forward as far as cap space or anything like that. Or even any first round draft picks. They traded them all away.
Yeah.
So
got them 2 cups. Would you do it?
Well, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Yeah. Sure. No doubt. Even though I don't know about that Brandon Hagel trade still. But anyways, but yeah, like I said, I got to have faith in Tampa. Again, like I said, you got to beat the man to be the man. So
I'm with it.
But like I said, this has just been a thoroughly entertaining series. And if the Leafs can finally break that first round curse, well, hey, good for them.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Good.
It's a great story either way.
Yeah.
Right? The champs advance or the kids win.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun.
And just so you know, we both had Florida coming out of the East.
Yeah. Well, how's that looking?
Well, I'll tell you what, watching that game 5 last night, I'm like,
all right. Well, because here's the thing.
Not that I don't like the Caps, I'm watching my bracket get blown completely apart.
Right.
There it goes.
But my point is the Caps are also showing the blueprint on how to beat these guys.
Right.
Right. So what's in round 2? What's in round 3? What's in the finals? Like, I don't know that they have the grit and gumption. However, a tough series win in your young team might give you the confidence.
Exactly. And not only that, but if you think about it, is their next opponent going to be built like the Capitals are? So let's say they get Toronto next.
Yeah,
Toronto's not built like Washington is, though, right? They're not that heavy forecheck team. Yeah. They're not going to throw anybody around, but boy, wouldn't that be a fun series to watch?
That might be the only playoff series ever where defense is not focused.
Yeah, I know, right?
It can be 12.
Nobody cares.
12-11, 16-14.
Back to the 80s. Somebody get the DeLorean time machine out. Those two teams are going. So yeah. So like I said, both Dave the Save and I, we're sticking with our Florida picks.
All right.
Yep.
You know, like I said, it was
That
no
gives me-
offense.
No,
it was
that
no
gives me
offense.
more
Like I
reason
said,
to root for the Caps then.
hey, but you know,
Not
like I said,
hated it.
just the wagon that they were, you know, throughout the regular season. But as Dave, I did say they were going to be. Washington was not going to be a pushover.
Yeah, but like I said,
at all.
and
You
those
did say that.
in those 2008, 2009 Caps teams, you would have not picked against them. 154 points, 116 points. Like they were just rolling people. And they got in the playoffs, and I was like, they hit the wall.
Yeah.
Like,
What is this?
Right. Well, this is a different kind of thing. The ticky-tacky.
Yeah. Tippy-tap, tippy-tap. So let's switch over to the Western Conference. Well, Colorado and Nashville is over, and it's been over for a while. That wasn't even a series.
I mean, that
Wow.
was practice. I mean, that was like
That was
hard.
practice.
It was really hard practice for Colorado,
Yeah.
and I'm glad they got the really hard skates in. But
Yeah.
Nashville, I mean,
Jeez.
they should have said, you know what? Just come to us and play. Like, you
Yeah,
guys are
right?
still going to win. I just don't want to go to altitude, the
Yeah.
flights, the travel. Let's just not do it.
Look where we play. You're going to have a great time. You know?
Little country music out
Yeah,
there.
exactly. No, I knew they were in trouble when Saros wasn't going to play the
Yeah.
first two games. It's like, oh boy, that's not good. That's a recipe for disaster. And it certainly was.
Yeah, and I mean, I always say that, and you and I talk about Roman Josi a lot about why he's always consistently up for winning Defensive Player of the Year. And my problem with Nashville generally is that they run their offense through a defenseman.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to stop people, but you can't just rely on him. But first of all, he's skating fewer shifts.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, I mean, you don't have forwards. He's not digging pucks out of corners. He's taking bumps when he's retrieving pucks. It's tough.
And you can't have him parked in front of the net.
Exactly.
Not a good idea.
Yeah, no.
And I will say, just as a closing comment on that, did you see soon to be unrestricted free agent Philip Forsberg took an extra long time saying goodbye to the fans on his skate around?
Okay. Are you trying to stick a dagger in my heart? Do you know my Philip Forsberg story, right? The Capitals,
well, I know he was a Capital.
They traded him straight up for Martin Erat.
Yeah, I was going to say it was basically a bag of pucks, wasn't it?
Martin Erat. At that time, the Caps were trying to break through, and they wanted some veteran scoring help. And Martin Erat, he had a decent season, and I don't think that Capitals were necessarily sold on Forsberg. The fan base was. They were waiting for him to get here. That trade was heartbreaking. Every time I see a Forsberg highlight, it's just another dagger.
Well, I mentioned that just because, once the season's over, obviously we're going to be hitting free agent frenzy.
He's going somewhere.
Somebody is going to pay him the Brinks truck.
Yep.
He is going to get paid, no doubt. And then we'll see what happens in Nashville after that, because then they really won't have anybody else on offense. So it's going to be interesting. The other series, Calgary and Dallas. I really thought Calgary was going to just steamroll through this one too. Dallas, on the other hand, is putting up one heck of a fight.
I agree.
Yeah, it's been really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like, go Dallas. I wanted to pick them, but there was no way in hell. But
why not? You didn't stick with your heart and your heart and Texas.
I'm not like you. I didn't just Kings no matter what.
Hey, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, pal.
Yeah,
and,
I know. Yeah,
I just want to remind you of a few things.
Yeah, I know.
But I've not seen a lot of this series live.
It's been quite boring, actually. Very, very defensive oriented.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I haven't even seen a lot of highlights except for the big fight that they had the other night.
Right.
Where everyone was going I saw that. That was good. I'd like to see Calgary win that. And you're not going to like my pick for the next series.
It's all right. It doesn't bother me. It's okay. It's okay. Jake Ottinger has been playing out of his mind for Dallas in goal. And that's basically what's kept them in this.
But that can win.
Oh, absolutely.
That could win a series.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It looked like last night that they were going to steal Game 5 in Calgary until Calgary got a couple bounces to go their way. And then,
you miss an empty net.
Let's not forget Calgary is still one of the top defensive teams in the league too. And, what better team to have if you're going to protect a lead than one of your top defensive teams. And, and unfortunately for Dallas, a lot of their big guns aren't going right now.
Yeah.
Tyler Seguin isn't doing anything. Jason Robertson finally got his first goal last night. Joey Pavelski hasn't been doing much. So when you're playing the number 2 seed in the West, you got to have all hands on deck.
Some of your horses got to.
Your goalie can only take so much, and then But hey, you never know though. They go back to Dallas for Game 6.
Yeah, again,
in tight defensive series like that, anything can happen.
win one. Here we
One
go.
bad bounce,
Yeah.
one, So, yeah. I mean, obviously, Dave and I both picked Calgary, even though he wanted to stay with the Lone Star State. I don't know why he didn't.
Yeah.
Head and heart. Remember that?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying, Dave.
Okay.
So let's move right along to, well, you know what? We're going to go to Minnesota and St. Louis.
Oh, okay. Not this one.
Because I want to say the best for last.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Minnesota and St. Louis. So this was going to be a war, and everybody knew it.
Yep.
Everybody knew it. St. Louis is up 3-2, and they're going to St. Louis tonight, I believe. Yes, tonight. Yeah. So St. Louis can actually finish the Wild off at home. I picked St. Louis. The Dave over here picked Minnesota. So we might even out after all.
Yeah,
Minnesota's going to take it tonight.
Yeah, I would have gone Minnesota. Can we talk about how did Kasparov make it to the 5th round in the draft?
Kaprizov?
Yeah.
At that time, he was saying that he may or may not come over.
Oh,
and nobody wanted, because he was getting paid a boatload of money in the KHL.
Because I was like, that was suspect.
Right. So
he's definitely first round material.
Oh, there's no doubt. But he was, I think he was making like $9 million a year in the KHL at the time. And if he were to come over here, he would have still had to go through the whole rookie deal and all that. Yeah. And he was like, nah, I don't think so. So the way it works is if the older you get, like the less years you had, it was something weird with the collective
age out of
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he only had to play like 1 year at, peanuts money, basically.
Yeah.
And then he came over, he proved it. And then he had Minnesota right over the barrel. Yeah, my God.
Backed up the Brinks truck.
Pretty much. But you think they can still do this?
I do. Yeah, I think that they're scrappy team, can score, physical enough. I just don't think that. I mean, St. Louis they don't really have the championship pedigree right now. I mean, even though they won the cup 2 years ago, there's not a lot of dudes on that. I mean, you got Maroon in there, of course, but a lot of guys have left. I mean, they were built for that 1 year. They peaked.
Yeah, and
they're still good. I mean, and they know how to win, right? They've been there before, but it's really tough to get back. And I think that Minnesota's an up and coming, very hungry team right now. And I think the Blues are kind of hanging on. Like they're riding it. Hey, we were the champs 2 years ago. Like,
Gloria.
Right.
Gloria.
Exactly. And they're relying on that reputation to win them the series. And I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Minnesota takes it.
You say they come back, huh? They take it in St. Louis.
Minnesota by 2 tonight.
Wow.
Making 2 goals.
Wow, you guys are trying to make a lot of fans in this land of 10,000 lakes, huh?
That's like Dave's trying to get a sports bet.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sponsorship.
People are going to see that. They're going to go, that guy knows what he's talking about.
By the way, opinions are our own.
Oh, jeez.
Past performance does not guarantee
returns.
Say that, Pastor, and then it will sound right.
And we're not experts.
Right. Yeah.
I'd say I went with St. Louis just because, I mean, this was purely based on numbers, right? At first glance, and I was telling Dave a few weeks ago, I thought Minnesota would blow them out of the water. Blow them out. But then I looked at it, right? Mm-hmm. So for the regular season, they scored a ton of goals. They were the 5th best overall team in the league in scoring goals. They couldn't keep goals out of the net, though.
Yeah,
they were 18th in the league on defense, and they were terrible on special teams. Believe it or not, for a team that's got all this high-powered scoring, they were 19th on the power play.
Oh, yeah.
Even worse on the penalty kill, they were 27th.
Yeah.
And then you look at St. Louis's overall numbers. They were number 3 on offense in the league, number 11 on defense. They had the 2nd best power play in the league, and they were the 4th best penalty kill team. So I looked at it, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, I know you take regular season and throw it out the window for the most part. Regular season counts to get you in.
Yep.
Right?
That's it.
Once you get to the playoffs, forget it.
That's right.
Forget it, right?
16 counts.
But I'm like, geez, special teams still means something.
I did not know those numbers, especially how high that St. Louis was. I did not realize that. I mean, obviously, I've watched 0 Blues games this year. However, I've watched several of this series. Like I said, I wouldn't watch it, in the middle of January.
No
show me in playoff season and let's go.
Right, exactly. But I mean, and then I looked. I'm like, the only question mark I had was who's going to be in goal.
Yeah,
right, because Ville Husso took over as the number 1 goaltender, but now you're in the playoffs. Well, who did it in the playoffs? Jordan Binnington,
right?
Who had a horrible regular season,
right, exactly.
But so what happened, right? Husso faltered. Sort of reminded me of Washington, right?
Yeah, and then Holtby comes in. But this is the same argument that we were.
So now Binnington's in and he's doing great.
But this is the same thing we were just saying about Pittsburgh with Domingue and
Gary. Yeah, exactly. What do you do?
Right.
What do you do? But, for as great as Kaprizov has been, and he's been lights out,
Yep.
Tarasenko answered the bell.
Yeah.
He's like,
Finally,
whoa, hold on. Hold on there, youngster.
Yeah, I can play.
There's still the established
Yeah.
guy here. He's doing the whole Rob Van Dam thing going,
Totally.
So I tell you, I think this is going to be
they're going to close it tonight.
I think so. They're going into St. Louis. This is going to be a tall
tough.
order.
It is. Yeah, and that's a raucous building.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's just it. I don't know. And I'll tell you, Minnesota's got to do it this year, though. You want to know why? They are in cap hell next year because of buying out Suter and Parise.
Yeah.
So they said there's $14 million in dead cap space on that team next year.
Can you imagine what you could do with $14 million, Philip Forsberg?
And the cap's only going up by $1 million.
I know.
So now there was all that talk about Kevin Fiala getting traded in the offseason and all that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what that happens. But I'll tell you who doesn't get enough credit on that Minnesota Wild team is their coach, Dean Everson.
I played golf with Dean Everson.
No way.
Absolutely. My wife and I put up some money in a charity auction, and we won an opportunity it was called Golf with the Goalies. And at the time, it was Ole Kolzig and Brent Johnson.
Uh-huh.
And it was at Ole Kolzig's Country Club. It was a really amazing. I think I told you they had caddies, the whole thing. Ole was hurt. He got hurt at the end of the season, and it was a hip injury, so he couldn't golf. So he still came with us, rode in the car, bought us beers, lunch.
That's awesome.
Food at the turn, except they brought Dean Everson with them. Like, they were like, well, I can't golf, so let's round out the foursome. It was me, Kinley, Brent Johnson, and Dean Everson. And let me tell you something. Dean Everson can stroke it.
Yeah.
He is a scratch golfer. He can really play. And super nice guy. And I actually ran into Brent Johnson at a charity event just before COVID, and we talked, and we were like, how about Dino playing coach in the Wild?
Right.
No one deserves it more. The guy is a super smart coach.
Yeah.
And he has this demeanor that's like ice.
Yeah. Exactly. Nothing bothers him.
Nothing bothers him. And he's always like covering his mouth with the in the sleeve, like do this, do that. But yeah, I agree with you. That is an underappreciated coach in the NHL.
Oh, absolutely.
No one talks about him. I mean, Minnesota doesn't get a lot of press outside of Minnesota,
right?
But yeah, Dean can really coach.
You know what I was just thinking? You were saying that there was the goalie, right? You know what would have been great, and maybe future reference, we can keep this in mind. They should have made it so that the rules stated at least one person in every foursome had to play in goalie gear. That would have been great. Could you imagine? Because like when we do our hockey club golf tournament, every year we have the hockey club golf tournament. One hole we have the hockey stick hole where you have to putt with a hockey stick.
No, that's
and you want to watch people that are they don't know what to do because they're used to the putter. Like, well, how do I? Or what's even funnier is when you get like the hockey players there. They think, oh, this is easy.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not, because you just flicked a wrist shot and it went about 70 feet over the green, right? We call that the great equalizer.
That would have been me, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Laser over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my question for you about the hockey stick hole. Do you give him a right-handed stick or a left-handed stick or a choice?
Nope. Even.
You got a
There's
straight stick? All right.
No blade. Old school. So
Yeah.
I got an old Northland.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's like a putter.
Yeah,
Really, it is.
It's sort of
Flat
looks like.
surface.
You ever seen Happy Gilmore
Yeah, of
when
course.
Chubbs gave him it's sort of like that, actually.
Jeez.
Yep, it's true. Now that would be great too. Take that to the miniature golf course. Anyway, we're getting way off track here.
okay.
Getting way off track.
We got a series. We got a big series.
We got another series we got to talk about, guys. And I saved the best for last. Like I said.
Heart
The
and
Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings. Now, a lot of people said that Edmonton was going to blow the Kings out of the water in this series. And for a little while, it did look that way. I mean, game 2 and game 3 were ugly, to say the least.
Yeah.
But the Kings found a way. They scrapped back. So after giving up 14 goals in 2 games over games 2 and 3, Jonathan Quick, the vulnerable veteran that he is, slams the door and shuts the Oilers out in game 4, the mighty Edmonton Oilers. And then game 5, I don't know if you guys saw any of that. The Kings were dominating through the first 2 periods. They were up 3-1. And then Edmonton put McDavid and Draisaitl back on the same line together. And they did what they do. And it ended up 4-4 at the end of regulation. And Edmonton had all the momentum in the world.
Yeah.
All of it. And the Kings, once the puck dropped for overtime, wouldn't let Edmonton touch the puck, and they scored a minute 13 in.
Wow, that's
and
impressive.
that was it.
That's how you got to keep it away from them. But I mean, quick, amazing. I mean, seriously, I have to give it up. He's been doing it year after year after year. Just an incredible goaltender. Most years doesn't get enough credit for being as good as he is. But I mean, come on, McDavid, Draisaitl.
You know, it's funny because I do another podcast called Hockey Royalty, and we just did an episode today.
Yeah, the King stuff. Yeah,
and I got talking about this, and I accidentally because we were talking about McDavid and Draisaitl getting put back.
And you said Conor McGregor, right?
No, I said Draisaitl.
Oh my
God. And they're like, what? I'm like, oh, I'm like, wait a second, we can make that trend.
Yeah.
But
hashtag.
But I said it right from the start, and asked Dave. I went with the Kings. I said Kings in 6, right?
Yeah.
If there was a team that was built to play the Edmonton Oilers, it's the LA Kings. You got Anze Kopitar and Phil Deneau, two of the best defensive centers in the league, to go up against who? McDavid and Draisaitl, right? Now that does create kind of a headache when they're on the same line because you're not going to put Kopitar and Draisaitl on the same line. But if you take away the top 6, the bottom 6, I truly believe LA has a better bottom 6. You know, they're a bunch of scrappers. They're actually much more capable of scoring than the Edmonton bottom 6 is. And now Darnell Nurse, the Oilers' #1 defenseman, is suspended for this game.
I saw that
because he headbutted Phil Deneau.
Dude,
what a stupid play that was. I'm sorry. It was a stupid play.
Completely is. And it's right on brand for Darnell Nurse. He's done it his whole career, right? And it's one thing to do it at the regular season, but you do it in the playoffs, you really hurt your team because, you know, I mean, obviously he doesn't have the skill of Tom Wilson, but that's the way he plays. Right. He plays to kind of agitate and like, come at me. Yeah. And if you don't, and I get mad and people, right. So you're down and they're still buzzing around and you get into scrum and you're just like, you know,
right. Yeah, well, that's
take one off, buddy.
But that's just it too. I mean, and how do you, I don't know. I mean, I get heat of the moment. Don't know what happened before because it didn't seem like anything happened. No. It was just kind of like all out of the blue. So they might have been chirping at each other the whole game. Who knows? Right. But still,
doesn't matter.
You got to know that's gonna be all bad.
Well, because the cameras are everywhere.
I know, right?
They sneak around. I know. It's not gonna happen.
It's out of control, right? And you know, I also said that I wasn't buying this whole Mike Smith as a Vezina Trophy guy, like he looked like for the last 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, he's a good goaltender. Can't take that away from him. But I've seen the Mike Smith movie where he's unbeatable for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, any goaltender can be like that, right? They're so streaky.
Sure.
Ruts and grooves.
What's that?
Ruts and grooves.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Exactly.
Goalies are especially susceptible to that, right? Yeah. It's like you get going, you make one big save, and all of a sudden everything looks like a beach ball. And then you let one bad goal, and now you're trying to stop marbles. You know, it's just like it's really hard for goalies, I think, especially over time, and that's where the mental game comes in. Mike Smith is falling apart.
You know what bugs me about this series is that it just seems like the coverage is all around about how the Oilers aren't winning it.
Right.
Nobody is saying
you're not getting
anything.
Credit for the.
I don't even care about the credit. What bothers me is they're not even mentioning that the Kings are doing this without Drew Doughty and Victor Arvidsson.
Yeah, I mean, arguably,
Arvidsson is a huge part of their offense. Yep. Doughty's a Norris Trophy winning defenseman. And they don't have either one. Not even a peep about it. Which, I mean, I guess being a West Coast hockey fan, I'm kind of used to like the East Coast end of the press corps.
Oh yeah, always.
Totally ignoring what's
exactly.
You know, the games are they're in bed by the time the games are over. 100%. I'll get the highlights in the morning, whatever. You know, so they really don't know.
But here's the thing. All right, so I'm going to ask you this, Scott. All right, so if we're putting Kopitar on McDavid and Draisaitl, that's a big ask to try to stop those guys, even slow them down.
Right.
But Kopitar is one of your top scorers. You know, is he your top scorer?
He was for the regular season.
Okay, yeah. So that's a tall order for a guy you're also asking to put pucks in the net.
Well, I'll tell you what I would do. And I think this is basically what the plan has been all along. Because don't forget, Deneau's got 25 goals this year, too. You put Deneau on them. And why?
Yeah, he's a good defensive forward, for sure.
He's phenomenal.
Yep.
And, you know, and it's not a knock against Kopitar at all, but Deneau is 5 years younger than he is.
Yep.
So he's going to have that energy to keep up with those guys, right?
Yeah. And Kopitar is a long-time player. I don't know how many years he's been in the league.
This is 15.
Yeah, that's a lot of years.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's nice, too, because, I mean, this is Dustin Brown's final hurrah.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, I would love to see him get at least one more playoff round win anyway. It would be nice. You know, but I wonder should the Oilers lose this series, who's going to roll? Whose head's going to roll in Edmonton? Because somebody's going to have to, right?
I mean, I don't know. Edmonton.
Is it Ken Holland's fault? Their GM
No.
for not upgrading the goaltending?
Maybe, but look at the roster that he's built. Like, I mean,
I know,
granted,
but
you lost so many years. You got all these numbers.
Sure, how do you not?
Right. But the truth is, Edmonton has been sort of a mystery team for 10 years. Since they got Taylor Hall. Right. And so they're just constantly drafting these number one people, and they're not breaking through. This year, people thought they were going to break through. This is their year. Right. They're going to go deep. And I think that, there's maybe a lot of hype about that. And, with McDavid and Draisaitl and the East Coast press corps, and what do I see out there?
Right.
McDavid and Draisaitl. Is anything else?
Well, you can definitely tell watching Game 5 that the Eastern or the announced team is definitely from the Eastern side, because that's all they talked about was McDavid and Draisaitl. Right. That was it.
Yeah, that's
great. They knew nothing else. It was like, okay, listen, there are 21 other players out on between the benches and the ice. Exactly. Okay,
that's
besides those two.
I hate that with broadcasting.
Oh my God, it's like shut up about them. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, I'm sure the NHL has got somebody in those headsets saying, "Well, you got to talk about the stars all the time because that's what they want, right? Right. They want the stars promoted at no matter what. Right. Promote them. But at what point do you not say, okay, well, we have to talk about other players and other parts of
what
this
game, matchup's going to look like, and those kind of things. Yeah,
but it's funny you mentioned, with the roster that Edmonton has. You ever notice that Connor McDavid, for as great as he is, and he's like watching a human video game. Yeah, so much fun to watch. Leon Draisaitl is the only one that can play with him. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, and this is exactly why I've said it for years, and I still believe it. Sidney Crosby is actually, I would rather have him than Connor McDavid, and I'll tell you why. You could put a fire hydrant on Sidney Crosby's line, and that fire hydrant will score 20 goals. Seriously.
You're right.
They have tried everything with Connor McDavid, and outside of Leon Draisaitl, nothing works.
Yeah, I'll tell you. And, if you look at McDavid's biggest highlights, which I love to watch, and he does those vertical crossovers where he's just going straight down the ice, crossing over each day, and, puts the puck in the net. You rarely see him make a play to somebody else that makes somebody else better. I'll give you an example with the Crosby thing that you just mentioned. So the Caps have Connor Sheary. Mm-hmm. Connor Sheary played with Sid for 3 or 4 years. Yep. His numbers were through the roof. And now he's not bad with the Caps. He's a decent player and great penalty killer. But on Crosby's line, he's racking up goals and assists. And so I definitely agree with you. I mean, McDavid is great to watch, and he's going to put up a ton of goals. Sure. But Sid is such a more balanced player. He's passes the puck, makes plays, makes other people play better.
Gretzky was like that.
Yes.
For as great as Wayne Gretzky, and Wayne Gretzky could carry a team by himself if he had to, but everybody around him was automatically better because Wayne Gretzky was on the ice.
Yeah, it's
like Dave Semenko had 38 goals one year. I mean,
he didn't have 38 goals in minor.
Exactly, his entire life until that.
Yeah, so McDavid has much more of a vertical skill set instead of where you look at somebody like Sid, much more horizontal, where you're spread out a little bit more and you make your other players better.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, I'm not even going to, like I said, I'm just going to say I'm going to stick with my prediction. I'm going to stick with my prediction.
I'm sticking with mine.
Man, okay. This is what you're doing by doing that. You are double making yourself miserable.
Yeah, but you know what though? Listen.
Not because I think they're going to lose, but when you're watching the games, no matter who wins or loses, you're going to be so
You know what I'm waiting for?
He's going to be ill.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You know what I'm actually waiting for, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
What's that?
Our cousin Chad.
Oh yeah.
Chad, okay, what's the over/under? Because he's into that DraftKings now.
Oh yeah.
Every night. Who's the over? Who's going to be on the over?
Yeah, I talked to him today about hockey.
So is this one? Are they going to win by 2? I'm like,
right.
Like, what? Just pick one. Give me your money, whatever.
I know.
Because I hate. That's I can't do that. I mean,
we've seen how you are in fantasy hockey. You don't want him given.
Fantasy hockey's different thoe. I mean, that's
for me. That's one of the reasons that I don't do the league anymore, because I found myself rooting for people I hate.
I know, right? It's so weird. I normally hate this guy, but
I need 2 points from you tonight.
Come on, man. Just turn that hate meter down just a little more.
Yeah.
Your dad wouldn't do it at all.
Dad used to be in our fantasy hockey league.
I know, but
he
only that.
He used to get so aggravated It's so funny. So because we do it all online,
Right.
The online drafting and all that. So he would come to my house for the drafts, and I'd have to set him up with the computer and all that. And he would still. Ended up trying to fix his draft, and then I'd have to do mine.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my god, this is a nightmare, right? So then we'd get into the season. Well, he didn't understand the concept between like IR, or if you wanted to get like a free agent, you had to drop somebody. He would get so irritated. Why can't I have that guy? He's right there.
But he
right. You got to get rid of somebody. That's not fair. That's not fair. I shouldn't have to get rid of somebody. It's like, oh my god,
for sure.
And then, can I just write it in? How?
Write it.
How are you going to write this in?
He'd be sitting there writing with a notepad.
Go ahead. Yeah. Take your Sharpie and write it on your computer screen, right?
He would.
But I don't know. You guys think Edmonton going to come back and pull this out or what?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Sorry.
If it goes 7 games, that's going to be an awful hard ask to win 3 in Edmonton. I will say that.
Yeah.
So I do think the Kings got to do it tonight. They got to. There's no doubt about it.
Late night for you.
Yeah.
Used to it. I'm plenty used to it. That's the hard part about being like a West Coast hockey fan, living in the East Coast. Man, I tell you, because the games don't start until like 10 or 10:30, right? And especially when you got to work the next morning.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'll sit there and I'll try to tell myself I'm only going to watch like the first period, right? And it's a great game, so like, okay, I'm going to go to bed after the second period. Yeah. How do you go to bed now? Because I tried that.
You're halfway home.
I'm notifications. Ding. Oh, they scored. Oh. So I'm like, why did I bother, right? And then I go into work the next morning, look at the kid who fell off his bike on the way to school.
Right?
Haven't you? All the Kings played last night. Yeah, they did. Shut up. Yeah. By the way, a little update. It's 8:16 here in the East, and we do have 2 games going on. The Bruins are up 1-0, halfway through the second period against the Hurricanes.
Oh, wow, that's late.
And 13 seconds left in the first period. The Lightning are up 1-0 against the Leafs.
That's not much for
the
Lightning.
That almost.
Isn't it funny how you feel? I feel way differently about those 2 1-0 games.
I know.
I see I see Carolina trailing Boston by 1. And I'm like, oh, Carolina's only down by 1.
Yeah.
And then I see Toronto up by, or would you say Lightning's up by 1?
Toronto.
I'm like,
against Toronto.
Yeah, I'm like, the Lightning up by 1?
Yeah.
So Toronto can come back.
Yeah. So
that's
one of those crazy series where, any one of those teams between Toronto and Tampa Bay can put up like 3 goals in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be fun. Oh. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's close this out with, speaking of 1-0, our Utica Comets are up 1-0.
Congrats, guys.
Hey.
The local team.
That's right. It was awesome, man. Tuesday night at the Adirondack Bank Center at the Utica Odd. Rochester Americans got them in a best-of-5 series, the North Division semifinal. The winner of this series is going to play the winner of the Laval Rocket and Syracuse Crunch.
And that game, Barry says that game is tied up right now at the 5-minute mark.
Really? What period?
Mm-hmm. Second period.
Yep,
Syracuse and Laval 1-1.
I'll tell you, that's interesting too, because obviously the Crunch are the Comets' huge rival, right?
Yep.
But this season, Laval kind of really stepped up the rivalry too.
With that big fight, right?
Started off with the Cole Caulfield thing, right? And then the teams just got really scrappy with each other throughout the season. And so that's going to be very interesting. But first things first, the Comets got to take care of business against the Americans. And I tell you what, I was telling everybody, as far as that game 1 goes, watch out for the first period or so, right? Because the Comets hadn't played in 10 days. And they hadn't played a meaningful game in like almost 17, 18 days because they locked up the Eastern Conference, right? And half the players were up in New Jersey. They called up some ECHL players. They signed a couple of PTOs to fill the roster.
Out,
So like, basically almost going through the motions, right? So sure enough, the place was rocking too. They got the whole white out. Everybody's wearing the white shirts. This shirt was hanging on the back of our seats.
I don't care what level of hockey you were talking about. When you get into playoff building and that building is rocking, you feel it.
My God.
Yeah, it's nothing like being there.
Well, I tell you, and especially a place like the Odd because it's so small, right? And that ceiling is so low that it just holds everything in, right? But, Rochester came out firing. They knew what they had to do because the Comets obviously had some rust. They scored 2 goals like on their first 3 shots. Right, Dawson was a little rusty. Like I said, he hasn't played. You can practice all you want. You can have hard practice and you can have game simulation. It does not take the place of actual game play.
Yeah.
And Rochester was just coming off that play-in series, so they had some momentum going as it was.
Yeah.
And they beat a very tough Belleville team. The Belleville Senators
Yeah.
were no pushover, right? So they went to the locker room, and everybody's like, oh, my God, what a letdown, right? Whatever it was that Kevin Dineen said to them in the locker room worked. It must have been like, it was like Miracle or something like that.
I'm sure it was spicy.
This is your time. Screw them. You know?
It was spicy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought there was a little blue coming out of the. You know. But, man, the Comets came out flying in that second period. They scored that first goal. It was so loud in that building, you really could not hear the public address announcer announcing the goal. That's how loud it was.
Wow.
And I said to my wife, of course, it was more like, hey, can you hear anything?
Right.
Because nobody could hear anything. And of course, then the Comets just poured it on, right?
Yeah.
And the place really, well, I mean, it was shaking.
Yeah. Doubled them up, right?
Yeah. So ended up 6-3 because, I mean, they scored that first goal. And then, like, 2 minutes later, they scored again. And, like, the place is just going bananas, right? And then Rochester scored their third goal, which I'm sure Dawes wish he had back. It was just it was a good shot, no doubt, but it kind of didn't quite have the short side covered up enough. But then the Comets were like, okay, that's it. That's enough of this. They tied it up before the end of the second period. And then the third period, the floodgates just opened, right? Wow. So, and of course, there's some scraps, playoff hockey. Here we go, right? So game 2 is this Saturday night. And then they go right back Sunday night to Rochester for game 3. And then I think game 4 is Tuesday night. And let's see if it goes 5, it'll be Thursday night in Utica. And so interestingly enough, because I know you got something to say about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we have family, and like Scott said, we had a big family event this weekend, and it kind of bridged both Scott and I's side of the family as well as my dad's side of the family. And my Uncle John is a big Amerks fan,
which he didn't tell me this.
No, he didn't. I didn't want him. I didn't want to talk to Scott. So,
well, there wasn't a church.
He didn't let you talk.
I'll tell you why. Because the funny part is like I'm on both sides of this conversation, right? So I mean, even though I definitely follow the Comets when I'm home, and I went to the inaugural season, and if I'm home and I can catch a game, I love to do so. But I go to Scott and I get the total Utica side. He tells it just like this, exactly like this. And then I go to my uncle and he's just the exact opposite. He's like, we went up first and I don't know how the wheels fell off the wagon. It's just crazy. He's like, then he came back and I was certain that we were going to just put it away. And then all of a sudden we got to the third and we just can't seem to get out of our own way. And it's just two different framings of the exact same event. And I would just go to one side of the room and Scott would get it from Scott. I go to the other side of the room and get it from the other side. So it was really interesting to get both perspectives on the game.
That's hilarious. It's almost
and he's like, we'll get him next time.
It's like if a couple's fighting, right? You get one side of the street.
Right. And somewhere in the middle is just true.
Is really what's going on, right? Well, I mean, the thing was with Rochester, I mean, they have such an explosive offense. That was making me nervous going into the series. I'm like, Jack Quinn gets going, JJ Peterka gets going. Ethan Prowl, their defenseman, was third amongst AHL defensemen in scoring. I mean, this team is no pushover on offense. But their defense has been suspect all year long. They just haven't been able to keep the puck out of that. And the favorite name that I have in hockey, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, is out. So Aaron Dell was there, and Aaron Dell actually played well against the Comets when he was in. And interestingly enough, I heard some people saying, "Oh, you definitely want Rochester because they can't keep." Well, that's true, but they played 12 times this year and they split. Comets won 6, Rochester won 6, and interestingly enough, it was Rochester that snapped that undefeated streak at the beginning of the season.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember reading about that long streak.
Yeah, so there was that, and I tell you, it's if the Comets can just keep that momentum going that they had in the second and the third period, they're going to be all right. Again, like I said, it's a long series, and I am not foolish enough to count the Amerks out by any stretch. I actually had this series going 5.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You'd rather be up 1-0.
Well, yeah, no kidding, right?
Down 0-1.
You're right, because really, especially in those best-of-5 series, right now, Rochester's almost in must-win mode.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
They're must-win now.
Yeah, you're down 2-0.
That's hard.
Yeah, you got.
That's really hard. Even though they're going to be going home for the next 2 after that. And I was reading on Facebook today in the Utica Comets hardcore page or the group. Rochester has already sold over 8,000 tickets for that game on Sunday.
Just amazing at the
That
A level. That's
going
going
to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be a loud building.
I wish I wasn't working. I'd have gone.
I don't know.
And
Man,
I'd
that's
probably
a brave
end up,
man.
I'd probably end up in jail.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
maybe it's a good thing.
Not bailing you out again.
No.
Yeah, right. Dave, listen, change of plans for the show.
Yeah.
Monroe County, because here's the internet password for the
Right.
jail. Hey,
Well, we can put the camera between the bars.
Yeah.
And, as long as we don't
Yeah.
show the toilet in the corner, we're good.
hey, listen, I'll see if I can get a Comets patch, put on my orange jumpsuit, and
That'll work.
and get beat up even more in the jail cell. That's
Yeah,
it.
probably so.
But no, it's going to be extremely interesting. I tell you, and Saturday is going to be awesome because they have they're starting this big party thing like before the game, like at 4:30 out in front, in the Labatt Blue entrance.
Yeah.
They're going to have like street hockey going on. They got bands, they got giveaways.
So will they show the game inside the the away games?
No, as far as I know. I wish they would do. That's a great idea.
Well, that's what the Caps started to do in the Cup run. So they would sell.
Yeah.
I mean, they would sell tickets. Actually, it wasn't. They wouldn't even sell tickets. It was free to go, but they had only the max capacity.
Right.
But they would sell concessions.
Yeah.
So the Caps are
is
making
a
concession
really
money.
Good idea.
That would be awesome.
And if you see down there, I mean, and the fans are just as loud. The ice, they just project like the Caps logo in the middle of
Right.
the ice or whatever, and those giant scoreboards, and they're broadcasting the games live, and the fans get the same fan experience. I mean, not the
right.
same,
Well,
but
no, but still.
it is still
Yeah.
like it gets electric in there. And then they started doing it. You know who's doing it? Toronto is doing it outside,
Calgary is too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
nice. Yeah.
where you got the giant screens and
Yep.
the fans can get together and
Yeah.
celebrate together and still watch the game. That's one thing I hate about watching games in bars. Is I
Right.
don't get enough like concentration.
Right.
Like I'm watching it, but I think in that situation I would.
Yeah.
Because you're not, people aren't doing other things.
Right,
Everybody's watching the game.
Yeah, there's no distractions. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way.
That's like a massive tailgate party out there.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. Even
Yeah.
though I don't know if there'd be enough room to pack that many people on the outside, but on the
Yeah,
inside,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
because they have the two giant screens, one on
Yep,
each
yep.
side, and they could probably put a big one right on the stage
Yep.
too.
for
That
sure.
would be awesome.
Yep.
Nice.
And you probably fill the building. Even, offer to your season ticket holders
Sure.
first if you want to go and open up the concessions. And
You know what?
do
You know
it.
what I bet you would have a problem with that? The AHL because of AHL TV.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but
But by this point,
you
everybody
own
has
your own
bought their
content.
packages. If they're going to buy it,
Yeah.
they're obviously because what stinks too is I had the regular season package and I thought it was for the playoffs too. Wrong.
oh really?
Oh, wrong. No,
Oh,
you have to pay another
damn.
$23 for
Yeah.
so they got you, because listen, there's always something magical to me, anyways, about listening to a game on the radio,
I love it.
right?
I mean, I
I
bet baseball more than hockey for me.
yeah,
But we have a great play-by-play guy in Washington, John Walton.
yeah,
And anytime I can't get to a TV or a phone or
Yep.
whatever, I'm like, let's hear it.
well, we're actually fortunate in Utica to actually have two of them. So for the home games, Michael Lair does the home games for the radio,
Yeah.
and Jason Shia is the TV play-by-play guy,
Uh-huh.
and he's also on the road for the radio and TV.
Oh, that's awesome.
Shia is awesome.
Yeah.
And if you ever listen to a game that he calls, he gets so into it. It's
Yeah.
awesome. There is no such thing as that. Sometimes you get the monotone.
Oh, I can't say
So here
that.
comes Riley Walsh up the ice, and
Yeah,
he
no.
passes to AJ. You're not
Right.
not Jason. No
Yeah.
way. Somebody better check on him, make sure he's okay in that
right.
booth because he's
Hey, did he fall off the chair?
yeah, I know. The comments give him a goal. You expect the microphone to get
Right.
thrown across the booth. But no, he's awesome. He really is. But that's a fantastic idea, though.
Yeah.
I might have to. You know what?
Put a bug in somebody's
I'll tell
head
you
up
what.
there.
Now Saturday I'll be up there. I might have to go to the fan zone and say, guys,
I'm telling you.
Yeah, you pass the word around. And
that would be really, really cool.
I don't think that there's enough of that kind of like, like cross sharing of those kinds of ideas. I don't know if it comes between the National League and the American League, but it also like even between teams, like, hey, we're doing this thing. Like we're giving away team gravy boats. You guys
Right.
should do that for Thanksgiving too, right? You're going to
That'd be
use
awesome.
a promo. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, the promo departments don't have to be enemies. Like, you
Yeah, I
guys
know,
can
right?
talk.
Everybody's in this to make
Right.
money. Okay,
Right.
that's
Exactly. Let's be honest.
And be truthful, you need the other team to make money because
Yeah, right.
you're not going to make that much off an intra-squad scrimmage. Okay,
Exactly.
But no, that's really cool. That's it. I'm doing it.
All right.
I'm going to mention it Saturday. Let's see how it goes.
Definitely
Well,
should.
Barry says he's bringing pucks to you on Saturday. So
Oh, he's going to be. Oh, yeah, because I got his Kevin Deneen bobblehead for him.
okay.
Big trade.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
You
Barry
saying
is awesome.
He's going for a bag of pucks?
No, but these pucks are awesome. And I'm not getting Philip Forsberg back, okay? Not bring up bad memories for you or anything. But
Killing me, Smalls.
yeah. No, Barry makes these awesome pucks where he's got his computer program and he makes the stickers like pictures of players or whoever. Like he made one of me and Dad.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it's really cool. So he made up a bunch of Marty's Illegal Sticks puck.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, he got a picture of you in bed.
No, me and Dad.
Oh, I thought you said in bed.
Come on,
I was
Dave.
like, Barry,
Get
you're
your head
getting
out of
kind
the
of
gutter.
racy,
Wow.
man.
What's the matter with you? You know, we even started the show a half an hour early to get away from your bedtime.
So I'm
Man.
not asleep.
We're trying to get you ready for Diamond Dog season over here.
Yeah, I'm getting ready.
Oh, boy. Well, Drew, this has been so much fun.
Wait. Before we shut down, I got one more topic for you.
All right.
Very short.
Absolutely.
Draft order.
Oh, yeah. That's
So
right.
You got Montreal taking number 1.
And that was like the first time that the team with the best odds.
Right.
Had won
Actually,
in, like, forever.
became the number 1 pick. But the more interesting story here is the Devils,
Mhm.
your Devils, jumped from 5 is where their odds pick was to 2. I mean, that's a load up right there. I mean,
It
4
is.
picks in the first round. I mean, 4 spots in the first round. Like that is a significantly different player that you're going to get there.
Well, if they hang on to it.
You think
There's a lot of talk they're going to trade that pick.
Wow, that's
Because
interesting.
the Devils right now, and we're going to hear more about this next week because Neil Villapiano is coming back on. And have you ever heard the Devils State of Mind podcast?
Yeah.
Dude, he's so animated and so fired up.
So
It's
we need
awesome.
so you're saying we need to start that one at 6.
Probably.
Yeah.
Especially if we got the Bulls Army guys coming on too.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
Multiple guests.
Oh,
It's
this
a
could
Tonight Show over
this
here.
could potentially get out of
Show.
control. Potentially.
No, this needs to be the late show.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
For
Get the censors ready.
Yeah, no, there's no censorship here. Nothing going over your mouth.
No, but I'll be really curious to see what he has to say about that, because I was like, man, the Devils are loading up with
Well,
lots of talent.
here's the thing, right? The Devils fan base, and I can tell you that from that game that we went down to on April 23rd, their fan base is getting so impatient. They've had it with the losing. You know, a lot of the fans feel like they're just spinning their wheels in the mud.
Yeah.
Now, there's hope for them in the form of the Comets because they look at what the Comets are doing. They're like, well, at least better days are coming. We've got enough prospects. We need to get some players in here that are proven.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I kind of snuck that Kevin Fiala thing earlier when you were talking about
Yeah,
the
it's
Wild,
interesting.
because that's the big rumor going around right now that, you know, the Wild, for better or worse, need to get out of cap hell.
That's a good way of doing it.
Fiala is still going to be a restricted free agent, but he's going to, the year he had, he's going to want,
Yeah.
you know, he's going to want to get paid.
And Minnesota's going to get a number 2 pick at a rookie deal price for however many
There it
years.
is.
That makes sense.
There it is. Right. And New Jersey has got oodles of cap space.
Yeah.
Right. Because PK Subban's coming off the
Subban's
books.
gone. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, speaking of PK, he's on the intermission now for ESPN. And I'll tell you, he's been excellent.
Really?
He's been really good. Very good. I'm very, I'm like, he's got a career in this afterwards. When
maybe.
he decides
Good.
he's done playing, I think he's going to, but anyways.
Yeah, he and
Right.
Brady both.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Did you see that contract?
Yeah.
Man, NHL doesn't have that kind of money.
You want to talk about how does Tom Brady just do it? I mean, I don't know. How does somebody just live that perfect of a life?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
You look at his wife and you know how he does.
I know, but still, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Want to get off the rails here into football.
I'm sorry. I had
Did it
to-
again, Dave. Way to go. You
Yeah,
did it again.
I'm sorry. I could have, on the golfing story, I could have
See,
said I drove a golf cart with Ricky Williams in it.
Oh,
All right,
that's
so,
cool.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
a Dolphins fan, so yeah. That's
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
When was that?
Back in Austin.
Was
I
it
don't
during his
remember what
playing
year
days or?
It was a charity tournament,
yeah.
and I didn't play for shit. So,
Wow. Yeah. Maybe you should have played in the goalie gear.
yeah. There's that. All right, let's wrap this boy up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's very, very interesting to see what's going to happen. Who got number 3? I think it was Philadelphia, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're up there too.
And then I think it was the Kraken for. And there was really no other big jumps other than New Jersey. Everybody kind of
one.
stayed where they were supposed to. So, but I don't know. I mean, I get it why they do the draft lottery, make it interesting and all that. But I don't know. They I guess that this year is when that all starts. And so, like, because Montreal has the number 1 pick this year, regardless of what they do next year, they can't get the number 1 pick next year.
Yep.
So, which of course next year is the year with Connor Bedard.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Right.
Way to go, guys.
This year, so.
But no, that's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Barry has asked for my autograph on one of those pucks, by the way. So just make
really
sure that happens. Yes.
Hey, maybe you know what? Maybe we'll send him a picture from this studio with all of us in here. Maybe Barry can make us a Dave the Save Studios puck.
We could do that.
What do you think? And we'll put it on display right here.
You know, that reminded me. I do need.
Which we gotta ask your cousin or my cousin, your brother, Matt. What was that thing again?
I don't know.
I'm sure
he
he'll
knows. Yeah, he knows.
He'll explain it to us.
Roadcaster Pro.
Yeah, Roadcaster Pro. Yeah,
Roadcaster Pro. Sounds like a bicycle.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's like riding a bike.
yeah.
You know, it is. You just. Oh, I had it all
Good
turned
one.
out.
Yes.
See, I
It's
had
like
it
riding a bike with a flat tire. Right?
it really. All right.
Oh boy. All right. Well, let's wrap this fun up here. Drew, it was so fun having you here in the studio.
Yeah, man, it was great. Thank you so much for having me. It was great to meet Dave the Save live and see how he does his magic over there.
Do you need my autograph?
Sure, put it on one of those pucks and send it to Kevin Fiala.
Yeah. Too bad you can't make the road trip from Annapolis here every week, but
like I said, I mean, I had a great time over the Zoom, and this has also been it's been amazing. I have a great time with you guys.
You know what? I mean, we have all this family chemistry going. You are welcome to be on this show as a co-host anytime.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not great at the AHL stuff.
That's all right.
But when we talk in the National League, I'm all in.
That's it. Perfect. Like I said, Jeremy this week. He's got baseball and lacrosse with this kid this week. So I'm like, I'm riding solo for a little while until the sports calm down a little bit.
I'm carrying you. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I got you, Dave. I got your mind expanding. And like I said, hopefully we'll have Drew back on more often.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm having to put too much study time in. Come on.
You love it, and you know it. Who are you kidding?
You gave me
I know.
tonight.
That's what I mean. So, I said, I go, look, I created a monster.
You did you do that?
Yeah. You got to dress up as Frankenstein with a hockey stick next year for Halloween.
Yeah. All right.
Let's wrap it up. So, anyways, Drew, like I said, once again, thank you for coming in.
Guys.
I'm sure we'll see you again. Dave, great job with that Roadcaster 3000, 4000 professional, whatever you call it. Outstanding as usual. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, the works. Please be sure to check out martysillegalstick.com for daily articles about local hockey and NHL in general. And so anyways, for Drew Bray, Dave the Save Warner, I'm Scott Kimball. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week on Marty's Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast.